The planet Arcturus 9 hung like a cold jewel in the blackness of space. Its surface was scarred by endless factories, mining complexes, and towering spires of metal. Smoke and steam rose from the industrial cities, turning the sky a dull, rusty orange. This was a world under strict rule, a world ruled by the Xerans, a species of tall, sleek aliens with sharp features and sharper ambitions. The Xerans controlled the colonies with absolute authority. They had no patience for weakness, no tolerance for rebellion, and a cruel habit of showing mercy only when it suited them. Among the Xeran colonies, whispers spread like wildfire. Rumors had arrived on Arcturus 9 from distant trade ships. Humans had returned to the stars. Small teams had been spotted on frontier planets, moving quietly but leaving signs of strange technology and surprising efficiency. Most Xeran commanders laughed at the news. Humans are weak. They are unpredictable but fragile. Their primitive weapons cannot threaten us, one officer declared. Yet even as they laughed, a flicker of unease passed across their eyes. In a small settlement on the edge of the industrial zone, the humans made their first careful moves. Their leader, Captain Elias Vorn, was a man of calm authority with eyes that seemed to see everything. He had chosen Arcturus 9 not for its beauty, but for its challenge. The planet was difficult to navigate, heavily monitored, and dangerous. Yet Elias knew that the humans' greatest strengths were intelligence, creativity, and courage, qualities the Xerans had not fully understood. A team of 5 humans walked quietly through the narrow streets of the settlement. They wore light protective suits carrying devices that could scan and analyze the environment. Their movements were careful, deliberate yet calm, as if they belonged nowhere and everywhere at once. Among them was Mira Kellen, a young engineer with quick hands and an even quicker mind. She carried a small toolkit filled with devices that looked ordinary, but could perform extraordinary tasks. The humans' first mission was simple: observe, record, and report. Yet simple missions often became tests of courage. As they approached a Xeran checkpoint, the alien guards noticed their unusual movements. "Stop!" one shouted in the harsh metallic tone of the Xeran language. The humans froze. Elias raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "We mean no harm," he said, speaking slowly in the universal trade tongue. The guards' compound eyes narrowed. Humans were small, fragile-looking, and their calm response only irritated the Xerans more. The checkpoint commander stepped forward, his voice cold. "Identify yourselves. State your purpose." Elias glanced at Mira and nodded slightly. She activated a small holographic device projecting maps, data, and schedules of the human movement through the outer systems. "We are explorers," Elias said. "We study the planets. We have no weapons. We have no claim here," the Xeran commander sneered. "Explorers? You trespass on Xeran territory. That is not allowed." His mandibles clicked with amusement, but behind his amusement was caution. "Bring them in," he ordered. 2 Xeran guards moved forward, their limbs long and precise. The humans did not resist. Their calmness seemed almost unnatural to the Xerans. Being captured was never part of the plan, but Elias had already anticipated this. As the guards moved them toward a waiting hovercraft, Mira quietly pressed a button on her wrist device. Tiny sensors released into the air, invisible and silent. They would record everything, send it to hidden human observation stations, and, if necessary, assist in escape. The Xerans did not notice. They had underestimated the humans. As the hovercraft lifted off, the humans looked out over the city. Smoke and fire streaked the skyline, but beneath the oppression and fear, Elias saw something else: potential. The colonists were tired of Xeran control. They wanted hope. The humans would become that hope. Inside the hovercraft, the humans were silent, studying their captors. The Xeran soldiers, confident and overbearing, discussed among themselves what to do. "They are weak. They will beg," one said. "We will make an example of them," another replied. Elias leaned back slightly, watching the Xeran faces. "They think we will plead," he said softly to Mira. "They think fear will break us. But they don't understand humans. They haven't seen what we are capable of." Mira nodded, a faint smile playing on her lips. "Then let's make sure they learn." As the hovercraft disappeared into the industrial sky, Elias and his team prepared themselves. The challenges ahead would be dangerous, and the Xerans were ruthless. Yet humans had faced impossible odds before. They had survived, adapted, and thrived, And here, in the shadow of Arcturus 9, the first spark of rebellion was about to ignite. For the Zirans, these humans were just another curiosity. For the humans, Arcturus 9 was the beginning of a legend that would soon echo across the stars, and remind every alien that when humans arrive, mercy is never guaranteed, and the Terran monsters are coming. The human team was led into the grand hall of the Ziran High Council, a cavernous chamber filled with alien symbols, glowing panels, and towering statues of Ziran leaders long gone. The walls pulsed with soft light, illuminating the sharp angles of the Zirans who awaited them. At the center sat the High Council, a group of 5 Ziran elders with eyes like polished metal and voices that could freeze the air. The humans stood quietly, their hands behind their backs, their expressions calm. Elias met the gaze of the council with steady eyes. Mira scanned the room subtly, noting the placement of guards, the energy conduits along the walls, and the weaknesses in the alien control systems. Every detail mattered. Humans survived because they noticed what others missed. A voice echoed through the hall, smooth and cold. "You are trespassers on Ziran territory. You are small, weak, and foolish. Why do you come here?" The eldest council member, Vorin, leaned forward, his mandibles clicking softly. Elias stepped forward. "We come in peace. We do not seek to fight. We only wish to explore, to learn, and to observe." Vorin's eyes narrowed. "Peace? You come to our worlds and yet you demand attention. Do you not fear punishment?" Another council member, Zira, laughed softly, a sound like metal scraping stone. "Look at them. They do not even tremble. Weak creatures with no honor, no fear. Surely they will beg for mercy when we strip them of their freedom." The humans remained silent. They did not plead. They did not tremble. Their quiet defiance unsettled the Zirans more than any scream could. Mira whispered to Elias, "We cannot overpower them yet. But we can show them we are not simple. If we wait for the right moment, we can turn this to our advantage." Elias nodded. Patience is a weapon. Humans are patient. The council leaned back in irritation. They expected tears, fear, begging, but received nothing. "Explain your purpose, human," Vorin demanded. Or face judgment. Elias lifted a hand slowly, then placed a small device on the floor. Instantly, a holographic map of Ziran patrol routes and power networks filled the space above it. "We study patterns," Elias said. "We observe how worlds operate. Knowledge is more valuable than destruction, but we will defend ourselves if threatened." The Zirans hissed among themselves. Their systems were supposed to be secure, but somehow, the humans had mapped them quietly without anyone noticing. The council members felt unease creeping in. "You believe yourselves clever," Zira said sharply, "but cleverness cannot save you from our judgment. You will kneel." A low hum filled the chamber as energy restraints activated. Invisible fields forced the humans to the ground. Yet even on their knees, the humans did not beg. They studied their captors, noting every twitch, every hesitation. The Zirans had power, but arrogance blinded them. From a hidden pocket, Mira released a tiny drone. It was no larger than a human fist and completely silent. It hovered near a power conduit and began transmitting signals back to the human's base. Elias noticed a guard glancing at the device and smiled faintly. The Zirans were clever, but humans were unpredictable. Hours passed. The Zirans debated. "We should destroy them," Vorin said finally. "Their arrogance is dangerous." "No," Zyra argued. "Perhaps we can use them. Their knowledge of other systems may serve us if we break them first." Elias whispered to Mira. "They argue. That is good. We wait for the opening." The humans' calmness, their refusal to plead, began to have an effect. Some Ziran soldiers shifted uncomfortably. They were trained to fear nothing, but the humans' quiet bravery made them doubt their orders. A few whispered, unsure if these small creatures could truly be so fearless. At last, Vorin leaned back and clicked his mandibles in frustration. "Very well. Keep them contained. Let us see if time breaks their spirit. If not, we will decide their fate ourselves." As the humans were led away, Mira looked at Elias. "They think fear is the only language we understand." "They are wrong," Elias nodded. "Humans survive because we adapt. We will turn their strength against them. They will regret underestimating us." In the cells, the humans shared quiet words. They discussed plans, but never shouted, never demanded attention. They were prisoners, yes, but their minds were free. And freedom of mind, more than any weapon, made humans dangerous. Outside the walls of the council hall, the colonists watched from hidden corners. Some had long suffered under Xeran rule. Seeing humans unbroken, unbowed, inspired hope. Perhaps we are not alone, one whispered. As night fell over Arcturus 9, the humans lay on hard floors bound by energy fields. Yet they did not despair. Elias stared at the ceiling, thinking of the first step of their plan. They want obedience. They will not get it. We will show them what humans are capable of. And when the time comes, they will plead for mercy. For now, patience was the weapon. Observation was the strategy. And the spark of rebellion had already begun, quietly and visibly, in the minds of both humans and oppressed colonists. The Terran monsters had arrived. And they were not afraid. The humans had spent hours in their holding cell, but their minds were never idle. Elias paced slowly, thinking through every detail. Mira crouched by the wall, examining the energy restraints. Each pulse of power, each rhythm of the system, was predictable if observed carefully. Humans had a way of seeing patterns others could not, and in these patterns lay the key to freedom. Time to move, Elias whispered. We do not wait for them to make a mistake. We create our own chance, Mira nodded. She tapped the control panel near the floor, sending a tiny jolt of interference into the energy field. The lights flickered. A low hum filled the chamber as a few power conduits momentarily dropped in strength. The Xeran guards outside hissed in irritation. Check the systems, one shouted, but they could not locate the source. Elias and Mira exchanged a glance. It was enough. Elias pressed a hidden button on his wrist device. A thin wire shot out silently, attaching to a sensor on the wall. Within moments, the restraints released one by one, leaving the humans free. They stood, stretching their limbs carefully, ready for the next step. The team moved quietly, like shadows. They had memorized the layout of the Xeran complex from the holographic maps and subtle observations during their captivity. Every corner, every patrol route, every door was noted. Humans were small, yes, but they were fast, clever, and most importantly, unpredictable. As they passed through the first hallway, they encountered 2 Xeran guards. Normally, this would be dangerous. But humans had a way of turning danger into opportunity. Elias pressed a small device, and a high-pitched sound echoed silently in the guards' hearing sensors. Confused and disoriented, the Xeran stumbled, giving the humans the moment they needed to slip past. In another wing of the complex, Mira found the communication hub. Using a small toolkit, she bypassed the security system and sent false orders to several patrol squads. The Xerans began to argue among themselves, some moving in the wrong directions, others stopping completely. Confusion spread quickly, faster than any human could have moved physically. The humans were already outside the hub before the first Xeran realized something was wrong. Meanwhile, Elias led the team toward the holding areas of the oppressed colonists. These people had suffered under Xeran rule for years, captured, silenced, and beaten into obedience. But when they saw humans moving freely, defying the Xerans, something stirred inside them. Hope, long forgotten, began to burn again. Follow us, Elias whispered to the colonists. You are not alone. One by one, the humans and colonists moved together through hidden passages and maintenance tunnels. The humans had prepared for this. They carried small, portable devices capable of blocking Xeran sensors, tools to unlock doors, and weapons designed more for strategy than brute force. Every step was planned, but every step also relied on instinct and adaptability. Humans were not predictable, and that was their greatest weapon. At the main power control station, the humans planted small interference devices. Lights flickered across the complex. Energy shields dropped temporarily. Security cameras rotated uselessly. For the Xerans, the carefully controlled world they had built was unraveling in minutes. Xeran soldiers shouted orders, but the humans anticipated every move. They blocked doors, created distractions, and guided colonists safely through escape routes. Some Xerans tried to fight back, but the humans were swift, intelligent, and coordinated. One by one, the aliens were disoriented, confused, or forced to retreat. In the chaos, Mira discovered an unguarded conduit leading directly to the council chamber. Elias, she whispered, we can reach them. We can strike at the heart of their control. Elias studied the map carefully. It was risky. If they failed, they could all be captured or worse. But humans had never been known to back down when the odds were against them. Then we strike, he said, his voice calm but firm. We will show them that humans are not weak. That humans are monsters when we must be. The team moved forward, blending with shadows. guiding the colonists and outmaneuvering Xeran forces at every turn. Every human action was deliberate. Every decision was calculated. Yet their unpredictability made them seem unstoppable. For the first time, the Xerans began to feel fear, a strange, unfamiliar sensation. By the time the humans reached the edge of the council chamber, chaos reigned throughout the complex. The Xerans had lost control, and the colonists, inspired by the humans' courage, began to rise, sabotaging equipment and blocking corridors. What had started as a small rescue mission had turned into a full-scale rebellion. Elias paused at the threshold, looking at his team. "This is just the beginning," he said. "We fight smart, we fight together, and we show them that humans do not beg. We do not surrender. We adapt, we survive, and we win." The humans stepped forward, ready to face the heart of Xeran power. Outside, the colony stirred with newfound courage. The spark of rebellion had become a fire, and the Terran monsters had begun to awaken. The humans had breached the inner sections of the Xeran complex, and with every step, the aliens' confidence began to crumble. The corridors, once patrolled with rigid precision, were now empty or blocked by confused soldiers. The humans moved with quiet purpose, leading the colonists and staying one step ahead of every counterattack. Their calm determination unnerved the Xerans. Outside the main command chamber, Mira set up a small device that sent pulses through the Xeran communication network. Orders given by the council to the guards became confused and contradictory. Some guards turned back, others went in circles, and a few abandoned their posts entirely. The humans were not just fighting physically, they were dismantling the Xerans' sense of control. Elias glanced at Mira and nodded. "Now they will see what humans can do when we are pushed to the edge." The door to the council chamber was reinforced, but the humans had prepared for this. Using a combination of engineering skill and carefully timed disruption, they disabled the locks. Slowly, the massive door slid open, revealing the shocked faces of the Xeran High Council. "You dare enter here?" Vorin hissed, his metallic voice trembling slightly. "Do you know what this place represents? Do you know the power you challenge?" Elias stepped forward, calm but firm. "We know exactly what it represents, and we know exactly what humans are capable of." Zira's eyes widened in disbelief as Elias raised his hand, signaling the colonists outside to act. In unison, hidden groups of colonists blocked exits, disrupted power sources, and sabotaged equipment. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and chaos spread throughout the chamber. For the first time, the council members realized that their control was an illusion. The humans moved with precision. Mira disabled the energy shields that protected the council, while Elias coordinated the colonists, ensuring no Xeran could strike without being stopped. The aliens, confident in their technology and training, could not predict the humans' adaptability. Every action the Xerans attempted was met with an intelligent counter. Vorin leaned forward, anger and fear mixing in his metallic features. "You are monsters, small creatures yet dangerous beyond reason." Elias allowed himself a faint smile. "Monsters, perhaps, but we are Terran monsters, and we fight to protect freedom. We fight to survive, and we do not beg." One by one, the Xeran guards and minor officials surrendered, overwhelmed by the humans' coordinated assault. Some tried to fight back, but they were quickly disarmed. Humans had no intention of unnecessary cruelty. They wanted control returned to the oppressed, not to punish for punishment's sake. Yet the sight of humans operating with unmatched efficiency and courage was enough to strike fear into even the bravest Xeran hearts. Outside the chamber, colonists cheered quietly, emboldened by the humans' actions. For years they had suffered silently, believing the Xerans invincible, but now, seeing the humans move freely, making impossible choices with courage and intelligence, hope burned brightly. Humans had shown them that fear was not the only way to survive, that strategy, unity, and bravery could overcome oppression. In the council chamber, the Xeran leaders finally lowered their defenses. They realized that no amount of technology or strength could break the human spirit. Elias stepped closer. "You have ruled with fear," he said calmly. "We do not fear. We adapt, we survive, and we inspire others to do the same. You cannot stop what has begun." Zira's voice was trembling. "Mercy, we offer. Mercy if you leave." Elias shook his head. "We do not beg. We do not negotiate through fear. You will leave this colony or you will be removed. But understand this, humans are unpredictable. We think differently. We act differently. We survive differently. That is why the galaxy calls us monsters when we must be. The Zerans had no choice but to retreat. Outside, the colonists were already taking control of key facilities, guided by the humans. Factories, communication centers, and energy grids were quickly secured. What had started as a small rebellion now became a full-scale liberation. As the humans and colonists stood together on the main plaza of the city, Elias looked at the horizon. The smoke and fire of industry still filled the sky, but a new energy filled the air. Freedom. Humans had shown the power of courage, intelligence, and unity. They had become more than explorers, they had become symbols of hope. Mira turned to Elias. "Do you think they will return?" she asked softly. Elias shook his head. "They may return. Other Zerans will hear of this, but they will not forget, and neither will we. This is just the beginning. The galaxy will learn that when humans arrive, mercy is never guaranteed. And the Terran monsters, we never stop." The colonists cheered, the city lights flickering back to life under their guidance. Humans had proven something fundamental, that no matter the size, the technology, or the threat, courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the strongest oppressors. And for the first time in generations, the people of Arcturus 9 felt hope. The Terran monsters had been unleashed, and their legend was only beginning. The city of Arcturus 9 was no longer quiet. Smoke and fire still painted the sky, but now the air was filled with shouts of freedom, the hum of repaired machinery, and the determined footsteps of humans and colonists moving together. The Zerans, once proud and unchallenged, were on the run. Their command structure was shattered, and their morale broken. Elias stood atop a small hill overlooking the central plaza. Mira and the rest of the team were beside him, guiding the liberated colonists in securing the last remaining Zeran strongholds. Every action was coordinated, precise, and strategic. Humans had learned the weaknesses of the Zerans quickly, turning their own technology against them. What the Zerans had believed impossible, the rise of humans in their territory, had now become reality. Inside the main control hub, the remaining Zeran commanders gathered. Vorin, Zyra, and the others had retreated here, hoping to regroup. But Elias had already anticipated this. Using portable devices and hacked communication lines, the humans monitored their every move. The Zerans could not hide. Every plan they made was already being countered before it could be executed. Elias addressed the team quietly. "We have come far, but the final step is crucial. We face them directly, but we do not act out of anger. We act out of purpose. We liberate, and we show that humans fight not to destroy but to protect." Mira smiled faintly. "And to survive, and they will remember us." The humans and colonists moved as one force, entering the control hub from multiple entrances. The Zerans attempted to resist, but their numbers were small and their confidence shaken. Each human action was calculated. Every colonist, inspired by what they had seen, followed instructions perfectly. The Zerans' own weapons became useless against the coordinated movement and adaptability of the Terran team. Elias faced Vorin directly, the two leaders standing across from each other in the main chamber. Vorin's eyes glimmered with anger and fear. "You cannot win, human," he said. "Our technology, our experience, our power, it is beyond you." Elias shook his head. "You underestimate humans. We may not be the strongest physically, but we are clever. We adapt and we do not give up. You have ruled through fear, but fear is not the only way to lead. Courage, unity, and intelligence, that is what humans have." Zira stepped forward, trying to maintain authority, but the humans and colonists had surrounded them. "Mercy," she said weakly. "We offer leave. We will not resist." Elias considered the words carefully. Humans were fierce, but they were fair. Mercy was offered not out of weakness, but from understanding. "Leave peacefully," he said firmly. "And remember this, humans are not to be underestimated. We do not beg, we do not surrender, and we do not stop. This colony is free because we act with purpose and courage. You will face no unnecessary harm if you leave." The Zerans, realizing that their situation was hopeless, activated evacuation pods. Their ships prepared to depart, leaving the colony in human hands. The colonists cheered quietly, watching their oppressors flee. For years they had lived under Zeran control. Today, they had witnessed a force they had never believed possible. Humans, small in number, but mighty in spirit, courage, and strategy. Outside, Elias and Mira looked over the city. Factories, communication centers, and energy grids were already being repaired by the colonists, guided by human knowledge. The city that had been gray and lifeless now held hope. Children, once afraid to play outside, ran through the streets. Families reunited. The presence of humans had awakened a spirit of freedom in every corner. Mira turned to Elias. "We have done more than survive. We have inspired them." Elias nodded. "And that is our greatest strength. Humans are more than explorers or fighters. We show the galaxy what courage and intelligence can do. That is why they will remember us as monsters when necessary, but as protectors when we must." As the last Xeran ship left the atmosphere, Elias addressed the colonists and his team. "Today you have seen what humans can do when we face impossible odds. You have seen what it means to fight with intelligence, courage, and unity. Never forget this. Freedom is earned, defended, and preserved." The colonists cheered loudly, raising their hands to the sky. Humans had become legends in their eyes. Across Arcturus 9, whispers would soon travel to other planets. Word of the Terran monsters, the humans who did not beg, who did not surrender, who acted with unmatched skill and bravery, would spread through the galaxy. Elias and Mira stood together, watching the sunset over the liberated city. Smoke and orange light mixed on the horizon, but now it was not a symbol of oppression. It was a symbol of victory. They had proven the power of humans, courage, intelligence, and unity. No technology, no alien arrogance, no impossible odds could stand against it. The Terran monsters had triumphed, and their legend had only begun. The galaxy would never forget the day humans arrived and the day they refused to kneel.